Welcome to the UFO and Time Travel Radio Show. This is your host, Renato. It is 10 p.m. And right now on the line I have Dr. Bill. Thank you, Dr. Bill.
Good evening, Professor Renato.
And also on the line, I think Bart has just joined the conversation. Thank you, Bart, my host.
Yes, I have.
Nice. And that was the song Clutch Mice and Gods, where those lyrics are awesome, man. He says, damn tomorrow, future now. No, not in that kind of way. I might be coming off wrong. No, he says, engineer the future now, damn tomorrow, future now. Throw the switches, prime the charge, yesterday's for mice and gods. You know, I think it makes sense. No?
I don't know.
But I got it to work, Bart. I am simultaneously broadcasting on TalkShoe and Blog Talk Radio at the same time.
Oh, you are? Okay, wow.
Yeah, we're doing it. Because what I did was I logged into Blog Talk Radio with Skype as the moderator or admin or whatever, and I called Blog Talk Radio as a caller with the TalkShoe so I could do three-way. But enough about that.
In a sense.
But anyway, you want to talk about those emails today, Bart?
You mean the ET stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there was more than one thing, so. But I figure either the CIA thing or the ET thing, whatever, man, or what's the other one? God, I got to pull up my machine's running very slow. But I don't know, whatever. I figured you could start because, man, that I thought was pretty awesome.
All right, I'm gonna get somewhere where I can actually talk.
Oh, okay. I hear you. Well, what's going on with you, Dr. Bill? Any interesting developments?
Not really. I'll just listen to you guys.
Cool.
And on some stuff that I may have missed.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, well, tonight, I guess, Bart's getting to that. Tonight I participated on a radio show on TalkShoe, and I had a sort of, I guess, psychic reading done. And it was pretty wild. I mean, she basically told me when basically she just asked people to talk, and they would talk a little bit, and then she'd say, yeah, I sense this person talking to you from the other side, and she'd describe kind of what they look like, and say specific things and ask people if they can relate to that or not, or if is that being specific to them, you know? And she had a description of someone for everybody, right? But for me, she could not describe. She couldn't see it. It was too cloudy, she said, for her, right? And she said that I have this fear, you know, and it was weird because I was feeling very confident when I called, you know. So I kind of took me aback. I was like, And I said, well, you know, and I kind of confessed. I said, there's only really two things I feel like I'm really afraid of right now. And I guess the first thing is sort of a spiritual connection or something to that effect. Or should I say, I said I'm kind of afraid to meditate, and I'm kind of afraid to have an astral travel experience. You know, I just can't help that I am, you know, it's weird. And then I said, I guess the other thing I'm afraid of is a sort of a personal matter in my relationship, you know. And she was like, yeah, well, I think it's leaning more towards that. But she said there was plenty more stuff, but she didn't want to say it on the air, online. And then finally, I said something along the lines. I said, you know how a lot of people pray to God, and they're always asking for something. They're always begging for something that it's almost like they want it handed to them on a silver platter. It's almost like praying for the lotto tickets, I guess, is sort of where I was coming from. You know, people are always praying for lotto tickets, you know. And I said, I've just been thinking lately that, you know, I feel almost too proud to ask God for certain kinds of help, because I feel like I should be able to do it on my own. I shouldn't be this sort of beggar, you know. And then she went on to say that that's what she was talking about. And I was like, well, you know, and I was like, okay. And then she said something that totally made sense. She said that, you know, she said that you're at a place of comfort. You feel very confident with yourself, in a sense, but she said that you're afraid to ask people for certain kinds of help because you're afraid of how you'll come across to them, or something to that effect. Like, almost like an ego kind of thing, you know? And I thought, wow, man, you know, she's right, I think. You know, like, because, like, sometimes I feel like I know, I just plain know, and sometimes I feel like I don't know, but I'm too, like, afraid to. I don't know. I was thinking maybe she's right, you know. If you listen to the recording of the radio show, I'll give you the link. I don't have it in front of me now because I went into my own show.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link to it. It was pretty wild. But the thing was, and when she said it was cloudy of the person who was talking, because for everybody else she was specific. Like she was saying hair color, body type, the kinds of things, the specific sort of messages they were getting from people, and people were showing her pictures of like certain places, and she was on the money. Like people were. Everyone was validating it, you know what I'm saying? Like, every time she did a reading, people would sort of validate it and say, yeah, that's right, you know? And at first I was a little skeptical, you know? I was like, you know, let's see what she says for me, you know? And I was like, wow. And I finally turned around and I said, you know, maybe the reason why you couldn't see the other person was because I said maybe it's, you know, the popular term, my higher self, you know, or myself into Zoe.
Liked was that it was
in the future, you know, but I didn't want to come across, because, you know, like, I didn't exactly enter the radio show, and because you're on chat, like, you see it online on, like, the little list thing, and I didn't want to come across trying to promote my own website or my own radio show, so I just participated like a regular person, you know. I didn't sit there and plug my website or anything like this. Like, in other words, I gave her no clue as to that kind of background, I guess, you know. And then I don't know, she just agreed with me, you know, but didn't agree that was it. She just agreed that that's a possibility to be considered, you know. And then she went on to talk about an experience she had that she thought it was with her higher self. And I don't know, I just thought it was pretty cool, and I thought it was something to talk about now. It's an experience that just happened for me like an hour ago, you know.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool, you know.
But the part about people wanting to not share stuff, and what did you say about there's some stuff she wanted to share in private, or?
Yeah, she didn't say. She said I'd like to do a reading for you in private, and you know, and there was certain stuff she said she didn't want to say that. I guess it was like she said it was kind of for my ears only type thing, but I went on to say, you know, go ahead, hit me with it, I don't care. But she still took the cautious approach with it all, you know.
Yeah.
And she said that the shift, like, because I was chatting, talking about the shift, and she said the shift is definitely, like, sort of going to happen to me, and that, you know, the last thing I'm going to be afraid of is having spiritual experiences, like as far as meditation and out-of-body experience. She goes, once you get past that little, she called it a little fear. She goes, once you get past that little fear, you're gonna kick yourself in the butt saying, why didn't I do this sooner, kind of thing. And I was like, okay, that sounds about right, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for the same thing myself, you know, because I am, man. I have opportunities to sit in a quiet, dark corner and, you know, and try and meditate, and I just choose not to because I I'm almost afraid, you know, or I am afraid.
Yeah.
And it kind of bothers me. And I know it's as simple as sitting down and doing it, but you know, the last time I really sat down and tried to do something like that, I really did have an experience, and it wasn't scary at all. It was just really confusing, you know?
Yeah.
But the fact that I felt like I left my body scared me more than anything else, you know? But,
you know, I was just going to say, apropos to that, that one of the emails that I sent you today was about Win 52 from ATS.
oh, yes, definitely. Okay, that would be great to talk about because, you know, that, first of all, I want to say that thread on Above Top Secret, it's in a Skunk Works section, and the title is, If You Could Ask a Time Traveler a Question, What Would You Ask? And, man, to me, it's taken on a life of its own. I mean, we got two people who are basically channeling messages through this message board now.
Yeah.
And then another person, well, besides you, Bart, I mean, people are throwing in some awesome knowledge and some awesome research there, you know. And as much as I talk out against the moderators of the website because they banned me 6 times, I'm still glad it's there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And since my IP address isn't banned anymore, I'm going to join again.
I don't think there's a computer left in Pennsylvania that you can sign in on. But what I wanted to say was that, all right, so Win 52 has been one of the people who had near-death experience, at least one near-death experience and some out-of-body experiences, and it led him to that thread and what we were talking about there. And he's been corroborating sort of things on his own, some of the stuff that you said, Renato. And so anyway, recently he said that he has been led to leave his job to give away a lot of his larger possessions and to go on sort of a like a journey that I think he said is going to last him a couple of months, I think, or a few months. I can't remember. I don't have the computer in front of me. But anyway, he's leaving on Friday, this September 14th, and he's bringing a journal. But he just today or last night, made a post or a couple of posts that apparently he got more information on this journey he's taking. Like, he said that there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen. First of all, he said there's going to be a lot of messages that are going to be, or experiences that are going to be had by himself, but other people that are involved with the thread. He said that the next couple of months are going to be big months. I don't know if he meant for him or for the thread or for, everyone in general. And he also said he said 3 times something about you, Renato. He said that you were going to experience the spiritual stuff that you were looking for.
Yeah.
He said you're going to have the experiences that you've been looking for. And he said a couple of things. I don't have it in front of me, but
he said it's going to happen to me first, and then I'm going to pass on information to him as to where to go.
Okay, that sounds right. Yeah.
And I just thought that was pretty wild, you know, because for the first time, I feel like I really have to take responsibility now for what I'm saying on the message board.
Yeah.
You know, like, this guy almost he's not putting his life in my hands, but he's asking me to direct him, like, you know, I don't want to say it, like, definitely not in the wrong way, but like I'm Jesus Christ almost, you know? And I'm not trying to turn it into a psychopathic thing either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to get down, you know, what I'm trying to get to basically right now is that I'm praying that I can give this guy the right answer.
Yeah.
You know, that's all. That's the bottom line. Like, I don't want to give him any misinformation. Anything I say, I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to point him in the wrong direction. but he seems to have more confidence in me than I do. So, what can I say, man? Thumbs up.
Yeah. But he's getting guidance that has actually tried to save his, has saved his life probably, or saved him from serious injury, but also guidance that he got that he ignored, and he was injured as a result. But guidance that sort of has been with him since he's out of body and these near-death experiences that he had in the late 80s. That's when he said that he had visions of the future and the things you're talking about, and I guess that thread.
Right. But everything I've said, I've been, I'm not lying. Like I said, when I read that thing about Win 52 going out on a mission, I immediately, I guess you can say in a psychic kind of way, I guess, I immediately had these pictures in my brain of this guy with a big backpack, and it was a nice, clear, sunny day, and it was definitely in a warm place, and and calling out his name, just like I said, exactly what I said, man.
You said you saw him out.
52, Win 52, is that you? Like, and he's like, yeah, it's me, and what can I say? I could see it like clear as day, as if I'm the guy calling him, except in another, I guess, timeline or my own, I'm on another string from the middle, Like imagine a circle with a million strings coming off of it.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those, each one of those strings is me on a different path or place or however you want to put it. That's the best way I could describe it. Like, in other words, I'm saying there's multiple me's at one point where, like, if I'm correct in what I'm saying, and I don't know, I have to question what I'm saying, but if time travel is real, there can be, in my eyes, I'm 1,000% confident that there could be more than one of you at once, and it's not a clone, it's just you in another place and time. And it doesn't necessarily mean dimensions, and it doesn't necessarily mean fucking bizarro world either, where, you know what I'm saying, like that move, like that TV show Sliders, because sometimes in certain episodes you get the impression that they're going to a whole another place, even though everything looks the same, the landscape or the bodies of water or whatever, things are completely different. Like I remember this one episode where they show Spain took over the whole world, and it was the United States was owned by Spain, and it was just nuts. Like, it's weird. Like, it's almost like that in certain aspects, but in certain aspects, like they gave the impression that it was like another dimension almost. And I'm saying it's the same.
Good person information. Is there an easier way, like when there's
like in other words, there could be two of you at the same place at the same time, standing in front of each other, But then I'm going a step further, saying that maybe it's possible for there to be, a million of you standing in a crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So maybe somebody had to just live the life you're living now, it's sort of maybe it had to happen. Like maybe you had to live the life you're living right now that's sort of mundane. Somebody had to do it. Maybe you were the guy that was picked to do it.
No, well, I'm thinking that this is a chunk of my timeline. Like, I'm starting to think that let's say for the sake of argument, according to my book, right, I say that I've spent on the order of 25 to 40 years, right? And now I'm leaning more towards 40 more than ever. Forget the 25 part, right?
Yeah.
So you figure if I was out there for 40 years or more, which I almost feel certain of at this point, is when I came back because I finally realized that this part of my life, this struggling part where I'm truly been struggling for a long time, like, you know, like I accomplish things that a lot of people can't accomplish, but at the same time I struggle with them. You know, like for example, owning a house. You know, I bought my house when I was 26 years old. I've been struggling with it since day one. There hasn't been a month that didn't go by that I wasn't worried about how am I going to make my mortgage payment. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Or how long is my relationship going to last with my wife because I'm constantly fighting with her? Or, you know, are my kids going to love me or hate me when they grow up? Like simple things like that, you know. And I think that in the time that I think I was gone, in those 40 years I spent, I honestly believe I spent most of them as a single bachelor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times when I checked in on me at this time as a young person, I thought, wow, his life sucks, and I'm not doing that. I'm changing that future. You know what I'm saying? And then it finally evolved where I guess me getting older and wiser and hitting like the 40 or the 50 years old, I finally realized that either A, I'm sick of my lifestyle, you know, maybe I got sick of different women all the time and all that nonsense, you know, and then, or maybe, you know, and then a lot of times I think that it was simply promises to my children from the future that I wouldn't change the future so that they wouldn't exist, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, because I do remember those kinds of things vividly, especially my daughter, her saying, you know, Daddy, just because you haven't had me yet, just because you haven't gotten married yet, you know, I want to be here when you come back. You know, please don't, you know, I see them pretty clearly asking me not to, you know, to alter my life.
Yeah.
To stop certain things from happening. And I think one of those things was my kids made me promise them that I would make sure that I have them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do remember spending time with a lot of my kids, and I feel pretty, I'm almost afraid to say it, but I think I have many, many, many. I mean, like a lot. Yeah. I mean, like tens. Whatever. I have four kids now. I think I'm going to end up having a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to come to realize that, you know. You know what's another thing, Bart, that I don't really embark on too much, but it has been consistently in the front of my mind for a long time. I remember quite vividly, if it's a memory, of course, that I remember spending a lot of time with Native American Indians. And I don't mean just like visiting them and being like a god. I mean like living among them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like being one of them and learning about nature and spirituality straight directly from them as if they're the source, you know?
Yeah.
And I did a little research about a year before I met you, and the only corroboration I found with what my thoughts were at the time that I did not share with anybody, I did not put it on a forum. These were simply thoughts that were always in the back of my mind. And what I found was, I think it was in sacredtext.com or a story somebody posted, there was an Indian tribe in Northern California that they built their own, they were the only tribe of that time that built not teepees, but they built almost these shed-type looking houses. And they were in, I think maybe they were in like somewhere, maybe it wasn't Northern California, maybe it's the next state up, what is it, Oregon?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was California because it was warm. It was definitely a warm place. But, I don't know, Bart, I just remember clearly. And then what happened, and then what I found, this is the sick part that I found, is they found a bunch of these houses right? Because what the tribe would do was, when they were done using the house, instead of leaving it there to rot, they would destroy it and burn it down and just kind of leave the footprint of the house, right? And we're not talking a house like today. We're talking like a hut, like, you know, like almost the kind you see on Gilligan's Island, or maybe the roof was a little better built so rain could, I don't know, just maybe a little bit more sort of, for lack of a better term, modern than the ones on Gilligan's Island, you know, and it's weird, Bart. I have very crystal clear memories of it, and I guess the part that I'm really dancing around here is that when I'm there, I think I have many, many wives.
Yeah.
And many, many children. And that's kind of the part that it's tough for me to get my arms around, you know? Well, my arms are around them. It's just a heavy thought.
Yeah.
And I also, it's weird, man. I have a lot of crazy thoughts like that, Bart. You know, like, I still feel like I have volumes of stuff that I could tell you of just plain stories, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know why I'm afraid to tell them, but I am. You know, it's almost like all these people we've been interacting saying, you know, like, it's almost like a little voice in the back of my head saying, don't talk about this and don't talk about that, you know, and kind of deal. But the thing is it's like a subconscious voice, you know. It's not like I'm making a spiritual, it doesn't feel like I'm making a spiritual connection like the way Win 52 describes in Cyber Wasp, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're pretty much straightforward saying something or someone is channeling to me. I hear clear voices in my head, and this is what they're saying. And for me, the voices in my head, I constantly feel like they're my own, or I'm paranoid and I'm thinking I'm being psychically attacked by, you know, the secret government and the Mars Force and all this shit, you know?
Yeah.
Which annoys me. And you know something? My head has been tingling for months, bro. Months.
Has it really?
The top of my head, yeah, every day. Always when I'm driving. And sometimes when I'm at home, not as much as, like, with my driving, it's almost consistent, like as if we're both on a schedule. You know?
Yeah.
And when I say we're both, I mean, you know, the top of my head and me.
Yeah.
It's crazy as that sounds. Like, I like, in other words, Bart, I almost feel like it's a download, like somebody's requesting a download on the brain instant messenger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You think information is being put in?
Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, ATS guy said it's funny, David Wilcox. Anyway, remember when he asked for proof, but he never got it personally? Instead, he got the proof from a friend? Win and Cyber are probably, he's saying Win and Cyber are probably just that, the friends that the message is coming through.
Yeah.
Thanks, ATS guy. Yeah, ATS guy, man, he's another one that's kicking ass on the thread, where he's just bringing knowledge. You know he's studying to become a doctor?
I think he did that, yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yep.
Good luck, ATS guy. Word dizzle. You pimp that. Because I know ATS guy's the type of guy who will make a difference and not become a greedy, money-hungry, you know, cutting people open for no reason type of guy.
Yeah, like Dr. Bill.
Back to haunt you and to plague.
Affirmative.
Hey, do you have any advice for ATS guy, Doctor?
Bring lots of toilet paper, because you never know what you might have to wipe your butt with out in the woods.
No. That's a different guy. But good advice for anyone, really. But ATS guy who's studying to be a doctor also. Win 52 is the guy who's going out in the wilderness. ATS guy is the guy who is trained to be a doctor.
Oh. Well, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on the internet.
Oh,
But hey, man, shit, you know.
We can say to him that you get to brush your teeth.
All right, that's good. I will still accept healthcare advice from you, Dr. Bill.
What was that again?
I'll still accept healthcare advice from you.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and for 152, that's good advice. Toilet paper.
Yeah, and Win 50. And he said to listen to Cyber Wasp, because Cyber Wasp said this is the point where a lot of symbols are coming into play, where now it's not just words and sounds and words with meanings. Now it's symbols with meanings, and he said that I should start paying more attention to hieroglyphics and stuff. And it's funny because, like I said in the email, I emailed you like a year ago, and I mean, no, I didn't email you. I mean, I researched this a year ago, like you know, a long time ago. That God, I lost my train of thought, man. I'm sorry.
You're looking at Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Yeah, and that's when I found the whole City of Dondo thing that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And then I found this cool translator that translates hieroglyphics, and I put my name there, but I haven't quite really researched it enough to find my name. I was almost afraid that I would find my name there. It was nuts. I was like, oh shit. And I sent you an image of it, Bart, of what.
I saw it. That's pretty cool.
You know, and if I'll find the link to the website that does, like, I think if you just put translate hieroglyphics in Google, it's one of the first ones that come up, where you can type in like your name and it'll translate it into hieroglyphics. Pretty cool.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
But
so,
I don't know. But I'm heeding, you know, what they're saying, man. Whatever they're saying, I'm listening. You know, you know, they're not telling me to go drink magic Kool-Aid, that's for sure. So, you know, why not?
Yeah, and Cyber's saying that Cyber Wasp at Above Top Secret posted that the crop circles would soon be called something else. He alluded to the fact that we would start seeing these symbols in some other material or some other part of the landscape.
And that's pretty awesome, dude. And you know what's weird? I mean, it sounds crazy, but I do remember researching crop circles, I guess you could say, on my travels. And from what I guess at this point, all I can really say is from what I believe, and this is coming from sort of these vivid and cloudy memories, is that they are messages, and they are, in one way or another, teachings. You know what I'm saying? The real crop circles, anyway. You know? And I believe that some of the fake ones out there are maybe, I really don't think they're pranks. I think they're trying to throw people off, too. Like, I hate to say it be conspiratorial, but I think it might be secret government-type operations. You know, trying to throw things off a bit.
If they start appearing in some other landscape or some other material, that's harder to fake. I mean, that would be pretty funny.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me make a prediction. I predict that there is going to be somebody is going to capture on film crystal clear the crop circles being made with those little devices. You know, they look like little mini UFOs. You know, those little balls of light.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to capture it clear as day and post it up on YouTube. I know that's a mundane prediction that could, you know, it's almost like it's like me predicting tomorrow's going to be sunny. You know what I'm saying? But I predict that. I definitely do.
somebody already has some older footage, just a few years old of.
I've seen it, but I think there's going to be something new and fresh from today. You know what I'm saying? From tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you read? I sent you the article on the Wiltshire crop circle, the one that appeared overnight, and there were researchers out there with cameras on. They said they saw this bright flash, and then the formation appeared.
Yes, and then and also that new story and people saying that they experienced missing time in the crop circles too.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty wild.
I think I read somewhere that the sooner you get into the crop circle after it's been formed, the more chances you have for this this activity, this phenomena. Because when enough people get in there, they actually affect the energy of the crop circle, and it tends to reduce the effects of it, I guess.
Well, I think that's where the energy of the human body comes into play, where it almost acts like either a conduit or just part of the machine. You know, like we're just one of the cogs. When we step into it, we are part of the machine. We're one of the cogs in the machine, if that's even real. You know, I don't know when's the next time I'm going to be able to go step into a crop circle and fucking, you know, try and experience some kind of enlightenment or time travel or whatever, you know, but shit. And if that does happen near me, like, because I live surrounded by crop fields, if that happens,
have any of them been formed in Pennsylvania that you've learned of?
No, but you know what? I would look that up on Aliens, the Truth.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, I can't do it now because my machine's kind of all choked up because of this radio show.
Yeah.
Because I tried to go to email before and it just hung, so I left it alone. But
check it here.
But yeah, I'm sure if anybody has a report of it, it would be Chris Augustine, because that guy fucking knows everything. Well, not everything, but you know what I'm saying. He has more articles on his website than I've ever seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spent a lot of time at his site, and I don't think I've touched everything still. Not that there's not other sites, but yo, man, I was at his site for a reason. I mean, I met I met Martin Doolittle there, and I've had just cool conversations. You remember the term when I first joined ATS? I responded. I think it's what got me banned the first time I responded to one of the moderators. I said, if you don't like my thread, click the little red X at the top corner of the window and close it and move on to the next one. I got that phrase from his message board from this guy there. I forget his name. But I don't know. I met Martin Doolittle. He was the first corroboration I had. You know, that really, should I say, made me feel not so crazy, you know? Because when he told me about he had visions of him going to a concert with his daughters and shit, I was like, yo, you know? Yeah. And the only reason why he even brought up the concert was because I brought it up. And he was thinking, you know, like it was something hidden. Like the first time I spoke to Martin Doolittle, we did not record it, unfortunately. And we were just going back and forth, bro. Like I'd talk about shit, then he would talk about it was almost like gears meshing. Like it was nuts, man. Like I was bringing out stuff out of him, and he was bringing out stuff out of me. In the sense, like it's something we were both thinking about for a long time, and we said it to each other, and it confirmed things, you know.
Yeah.
And I forget what I said to him. He'd tell you though, man. But it was pretty wild, and I met him at that site. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to make it, you know, I'm not trying to cheesify it, but I just thought it was. I don't know. I feel pretty trusting in Chris Augustine because he is a bigger skeptic than I am. So a lot of his stories are very non-biased. You know, it is what it is fashion. He delivers in everything. You know, he'll give you his opinion, but his seems to me like his website doesn't really reflect his opinion too much. You know, like he's very down the middle with it.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, you know, if anybody wants to call in, man, feel free.
You gotta give him the phone number.
It's
I was just
looking on a source book. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's 724-444-7444, and the show number is 49587. And if you're in New York or near New York or have call anywhere in the U.S. phone service, you can call 718-664-6576. It's weird. Yeah, nobody ever calls in our show. It's okay. Well, no, I can't say that. I mean, Dr. Bill's here. ATS guy's here, which I'm kind of psyched about. And another guy was here. See, my machine keeps locking up on me, guys.
Yeah.
Every time I try to click to another window, it fucking locks. Damn Windows. Sorry.
You gotta clean it up.
But yeah, you know, I guess I don't talk enough about like the spirituality and the spiritual shift that's happening. And ATS guy said something to me that struck a note, and he said he posted it on the UFO time travel message board.
Yeah.
And he basically said that he was listening to one of our previous interviews, and how I talked about that once I was far enough away from space, how I felt like it was easy to do things like telepathically communicate, and I felt like, you know, it was it came just way more naturally, like as if like I felt like how I said I kind of felt like I left the grid that the Earth is trapped in, that all our sort of fourth dimensional abilities are trapped under, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And he found an article that a NASA pilot had he described something similar to what I was saying, but the NASA pilot described it more, you know, saying he was experiencing this feeling of euphoria, and he was having this spiritual experiences type deal, and he hasn't found the article yet, but I could swear I read somewhere the same thing, you know, and it's just weird. It just felt like another, you know, corroboration, or I don't. We use that word a lot, but it's the only one I know.
Yeah.
Is there any other word that's similar, like correlate? Did you say something? Did you say something, Dr. Bill?
No, not me.
Oh, he didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Shit. I don't know. I guess corroborate's the best word anyway.
Supports?
Yeah, supports my claims.
Confirms? Affirms?
Yeah, affirms. Yes, it affirms my claims.
It reinforces.
There you go. I gotta. Maybe I should, because you know, I definitely had to look up what corroboration means. I heard that from you, Bart, and I went on dictionary.com.
And you're just using the hell out of it.
Yeah, I'm beating it to death.
Well, get us the source.
Yeah, Bart. I have to. I don't know if this is I don't know if I'm gonna get frowned upon for this, but David Wilcock, Divine Consoles. I hate to sound like a little bitch, but they wouldn't post my damn thread.
Yeah.
I
read the email.
Like, sorry, man. He's like, he made me feel like a spammer, like he's telling me a nice way to stop spamming.
Yeah.
Am I doing that? Like, should I make a new intro? I mean, how the hell else am I get, you know? He quoted, "You're trying to get a message across," like you know, taking little snippets of my thing, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, he said they they want people to I guess it's on his message board, David Wilcock's message boards.
Yeah, on Divine Cosmos.
Yeah, they want people.
I mean, maybe I guess, and he said, they want you to like just say how David Wilcock's teaching has affected you and talk about stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, nice.
I mean, yours was appropriate.
I thought it was. I mean, I said in the thread, in David Wilcock, he says that this biker guy comes out of nowhere, and then he's sitting down telling me he was in the Montauk Project, and he was confidential, And then I've been describing the same damn guy, except without a leather jacket the whole time, for the last freaking years I've been talking to you.
Yeah.
And then I email the guy. I mean, it's weird. I mean, I hate to vent. Like, I'm not trying to put the guy in a negative light, but I mean, I just feel like I'm being ignored by everyone. I mean, you go to the Godlike Productions forum, and these people claiming to be, walking ET guys or whatever, they'll answer everybody's question, but they won't answer our questions. What the fuck?
I know. Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I think I was trying to get to in the beginning. But yeah, man. It was nuts. Like, I'm not mad about the answers. I just feel like, wow, I can't explain. It's almost like with the Metamorphosis, how he just danced around the questions. Oh, and I found the receptionist from the mortgage company.
Yeah.
Right? I won't say her name, but I found her. And she acknowledged the yellow folder with the future documents. She just won't answer the question. Again, ignored at the question. She's like, yeah, I remember everything with the yellow folder. And I was like, okay, well, so tell me, what do you remember? And, and she just ducked the question. What can I say? She totally ducked the question, bro. I asked a very straightforward, specific question. And I said, okay, well, what was in the contents of the yellow folder? I know I discussed it with you once, like a couple of years ago, but please refresh my memory, And that, she didn't respond to anything. She sent me emails after that, but just completely as if I didn't send that question at all,
Yeah. You're getting blocked.
Everywhere.
So the Godlike Productions message board.
Yeah, you can go. It's all yours, Bart. Because it's really you brought that to the table, no doubt about it.
There is what's that?
You just tell the story. You found these two guys at GLP. Is that it, right? Yeah, GLP. Godlike Productions message board, which is out of control.
Totally. It's actually pretty funny. It's a mix of it's everything across the board. People just use it as sort of when they're bored, they just sort of go on there and post. Yeah.
In other words, threads get buried real quick there.
Yeah. And there are a lot of alarmists there, and I'll talk about the some of that stuff with the CIA too in a bit.
Oh yeah, okay.
But so I found this one thread. There are a couple people on there. Actually, there's just one thread on there. There might be other people on there, but this one in particular was started by somebody, I think, because they were frustrated. It was just started by a poster who was just sort of joking, and the title of the thread was I am a extraterrestrial. Ask me a question, and I will respond. It's pretty funny. And but anyway, I think what the story is behind that, I haven't read much of it, but I think somebody took over the thread eventually that claimed that they were channeling an ET, possibly a gray. But anyway, I've been reading some of that person's responses to posters' questions, and they seem to be answering pretty diligently all the questions. And some of the stuff that they've been writing seems to correlate or corroborate stuff that David Wilcock's saying, that Renato's saying, that people on at Above Top Secret are saying. So I decided what the hell I'd ask questions about Renato. He's posting there as, or he was before he got banned, he was posting as Time Drifter. So I asked about
I get banned from everywhere.
What's that?
That's another thing. I get banned from like every forum.
Yeah. So, let's see. I asked if they had any information on the individual posting here as Time Drifter, and the responses are just sentence fragments. They're just very short, but they said specifics would be of confidential matters which are not accessible. So I continued asking, I'm curious if you have anything on this person. We may have, though, of confidential matters. So then I asked, do they have any information with regard to a concert contact event and a mass landing the Time Drifter remembers experiencing and says are going to occur in our near future? No information that we can share. Thank you. All right. So, I responded to them asking. I wanted to find out why they were so evasive in their responses, because there was no response basically. It was just that they couldn't respond.
But they were responding to everyone else's stuff, right?
Yeah, they're responding to everyone else's questions. But for some reason,
that one of Jeannie's points was.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I remember seeing it.
Yeah. They gave other people specific responses to them. So I said, your response held no information save that to answer would mean disclosing information about, quote, confidential matters, unquote. And they said it would mean infringing on private matters. This is correct. I said, that's okay, but can you say what would qualify information as being confidential? No, we cannot. Does this mean it is improper or disallowed to disclose personal information about a specific person? It is not allowed without sufficient reasons. I said, or is it with regard to the sensitivity in disclosing the information this person is sharing? They answered, it may also involve these factors. So I said that I basically said I wasn't trying to be sly or anything, but I wanted to have some information with regard to what the stuff that you were claiming.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I just throw me a bone. So they said, we understand, though you would desire to have this information from us, of which regrettably we cannot provide. So I just basically said, all right, if you can't offer anything with regard to Renato's claims, can you say whether or not you feel it's impossible that the events that he claims will come to pass can come to pass? And they said, nothing is impossible. I said, I was initially going to say, do you feel positive or future about what Renato was saying? But they just stopped at the first part of that sentence and said they do not feel positive or negative. I guess they did answer at this in the second part. I said about the claims Renato is making. What are your personal feelings about the scenario of open contact and contact in a music concert? And they said what will be is what will be. So I kind of got the impression that they weren't responding because I was asking questions about a different person, and it was, information personal to you, so I decided to ask about myself. And said, first of all, they responded first. I thanked them for their fast response, meaning the person who was channeling this entity and the entity, and they responded, you're welcome. We just happened to run across your singular thread. Otherwise, we might not have seen this. So if you have questions, responses, please post them to this thread. I don't know what that means, but I'll find out later.
Yeah, well, they said email them directly if you can't. But is there an email to email them?
I put my email in the thread, hoping they would email me. So what I said was, I gave them permission to seek info about me and to share their findings in this board. They said we cannot share such information over a public terrestrial forum. You may ask of this directly in private.
Right. So, meaning, I would think in private email, I guess I'm assuming there.
I said, do you have information you could pass along to me about what I'm involved in now with regard to Renato? And they said, we do, but it cannot be shared here.
Right, so they're saying they have info, it's just, we're just not allowed to have it.
You know what? You're being blocked and I'm being blocked.
Yeah.
The next three, I asked three more separate questions. The responses to those three questions we cannot say. So anyway, I put my email address in there and said just email me what information would be, you can share.
Now, does this mean we're doing good research and we're onto something, Bart? Or are we just falling into the trap of hoaxers,
Well, I'll tell you that I've read other people's reviews or sort of opinions about this particular poster, and they seem to think that this person, there's something to this person. And the information I've read in the other responses seems to be, pretty right on. I mean, you just don't know until stuff comes to pass. But I mean, this thread is up to almost 330 pages. It's crazy out of control.
Right. It's almost looking like sleepers.
Yeah, but this person seems to be actually a couple of toward the end of the pages like 323 to 326 or 320 to 326. The person is talking about the shift and the changes that are upon us, and
yeah, but everybody's talking about that now. I mean, it's echoing all over the place,
Well, I don't know. You have to sort of read and decide for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing that this person does say is that they said Bin Laden is dead. Somebody asked the person here about the new Bin Laden videotape that came out.
Yeah, and he said it was CGI and.
Well, no, the person in this thread says that Bin Laden was dead. It wasn't Bin Laden, but I learned through my own individual contacts.
Why would they not want us to know that he's dead?
I don't know. They want us. They want support.
Wouldn't people feel victorious in the United States, especially?
Well, I mean, it would also mean that they would think that we could pull out of Iraq, and if the administration wanted to end the war, I mean, that's something they could do.
Oh, so you think it would end the war, and they want to keep the war going and keep making them money?
It could be, but it'll also be that they just can't prove yet either way whether or not he's dead or alive. But I won't say.
Why would they go through lengths to impersonate him?
No. I'm saying that the Al Qaeda group or those extremists may have created a CGI or some sort of edited videotape.
Oh, gotcha.
In fact, I am saying that from my contact in this agency that will not be named.
They who must not be named.
They who will not be named. They more than suggested that the tape was fake. So.
Right. Well, hey, man, shit. I don't doubt it. I don't even to be honest with you, Bart. Didn't see the tape. Didn't even look for it. It struck no interest to me whatsoever, to be honest with you.
Don't care. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm at the point where I can't help but seeing how, controlled the media really is, and trust me, man, I'm not talking just from watching TV, I had first-hand experience. I worked at a place called the National News Network, which I was working at CBS, and it was an entity of itself that supplied news nationally from this main little hub. And when I call it a hub, I mean there was only like 20 people there at a time at most. And these are the people that are providing the latest news. Like, they're the ones providing news to, like, AP and shit,
Yeah.
Not to mention having a feed coming to them as well from AP. And, I see how controlled it is, And I worked at CBS. I've worked at a few broadcasting places, dude. And, it's the basic hierarchy, You have your king, and then your vice presidents, which is the king's round table, and then the pyramid just gets lower and lower and lower. So it's just like any other corporation or whatever, And I don't know, man. I don't watch the news, dude. I don't. I watch YouTube and shit now. I do. I'm lucky if I even glance at the news. Like, I'll take a glance at the headlines on, like, Yahoo, and that's just about it. Like, I saw one where it showed the President Bush crying, and I just thought, scam. Flip on, let me check my email, I didn't even read the story. I was like, yeah, all right. There it is. There's President Bush with a little tear running down his eye, and I just thought, and it said, Bush crying or something was like the headline with like a question mark or something, and I just thought, whatever. Yeah, scam.
Here's anyway, they're so we both got blocked at that one thread, and you seem to be getting blocked,
Yep, all sorts of red tape, red flags, brick walls, cement.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of time. Just like 152 says, you're going to be the first to start getting the information, and the experiences, and then you're going to be passing it on.
Yeah, everyone I go to, it's like nuts. Like, all the times that fucked up, crazy things happened to me throughout my life that involved somebody that looked like me, I wasn't looking for any answers. I wasn't on any quest of any kind. I was just simply living my life. When I was a kid, when I was a skater, when I was in a heavy metal band, I want to talk about a night that, I've thought about this many times, and it's a pretty damn clear memory, my friend. Very vivid. And the thing is it happened at a bar, and I was drunk myself, so there's not much validity to the story. But nonetheless,
live with them. Explains what goes on in each side, and the third.
That's the story truly, really happens. And it's basically, it's another time travel story of meeting somebody who looked just like me, who knew everything about me, and I blew him off. I didn't want to talk to them. I was like, whatever, you're a nutcase. You know too much about me. Get away, kind of deal. I'm meeting you at a bar. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, I was in this band with, the name of the band was Empowered. It's kind of a cheesy name now that I look back on it. But we were playing at this small bar in Staten Island called SROs, right? And SROs was like basically any local could get a show there, no matter whether you heard of them or not, whatever. They were always willing to play any live band there, for free or whatever. And my band played there a few times, and one of the last times I played there, I'm not sure, exactly, the best date I can give you is maybe late 94, early 95. So I'm not sure right away what the date is. But basically, we had a show that night, and prior to the show starting, I was doing my typical thing where I was drinking, where I was ordering pitchers from the bar and fucking, and it was my turn to go order a pitcher of beer, or I took it upon myself to order a pitcher of beer and share with everyone, hoping that good karma would come back to me and people would pour me drinks out of their pitchers, which did happen, and I got really drunk. But anyway, towards the beginning of the night, after I bought my own pitcher initially, when I was almost done with it, these group of people at the end of the bar told the bartender that they wanted to buy me a drink. And I was like, all right, cool, And I came over to thank them, I walked over, and these people were dressed a little weird. They were dressed almost pimp style. The girls didn't look like hookers, though. The girls were kind of normal, I guess, looking like they fit in a bit. But the guys, they all looked, I don't know, they weren't looking that pimpy. They just looked a little extra nice for being at a heavy metal club, you know. You know, I was used to seeing people with long hair and beards and tattoos and all heavy metal styles, you know what I'm saying? And these people stood out in a way that they were dressed up a little nice. You know, pimp was the wrong word. They were, you know, they were Goujian. I don't know. They just looked, they didn't totally fit. But nonetheless, they bought me a drink, beer. You know, they bought a pitcher and, you know. So anyway, I don't really remember all the stuff they were telling me because I just remember having a very strange conversation with them. Maybe they tried to tell me they were from the future or they knew me or, you know, everybody when I met in these weird circumstances, they always knew something that I didn't somehow, you know? And they always smiling and winking. That's what I remember the most, the don't worry, you'll see kind of look, you know, with that half a grin on their face, you know? That's the stuff I remember the most. But anyway, that night, after my band played the show, when I was taking my stuff out of the club to load it into my car, or whoever, you know, just doing my part, standing just outside the door with these three huge guys. And I mean, they were all at least twice my size when it came to muscle. You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, they looked like three bouncers. They were all standing there with their stance, their arms crossed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, well, at least the one guy, he looked like me. And I remember him, and I got jealous because I thought he was trying to hit on my girlfriend. Because he started talking to her, too, which is my wife now. And I was like, yo, what the fuck's that big musclehead talking to my fucking girl for? You know, because she wasn't my wife at the time, she was just my girlfriend. That's when she loved me. No, I'm just kidding. But, anyway, you know, and then the guy tried talking to me, you know, and all I could think in the back of my brain is this asshole was talking to my girlfriend, you know. And he was trying to be cool, and all I can say is the guy looked like me. Like, he looked like me. He looked like I looked at him like I was jealous. Like, I wish I could look like, I said, wow, that guy's totally crimping my style. He's got my hair and my beard. He almost looks just like me, except he's huge. You know, he's very muscular and built.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't remember seeing tattoos. I remember, you know, I just don't remember if there's tattoos or not. And that's an easy distinction between the past me and the future me, is tattoos. Because I see them in the future and not the past. You know what I'm saying?
You get them in the future.
Right. Because I think I will have them. I don't have any right now. I have no tattoos at all. So, if anybody, you know, if somebody with tattoos that looks like me appears, they're from after now. But, you know, you can't discount technology. I mean, I could have had tattoos in the past and had them surgically removed with high technology. You know, you can't rule that out either, as long as we're getting crazy. You know, as long as I'm going out there, I might as well go the extra step.
Anything's possible.
Word. But hey, man, shit, you know, it is what it is. As much as I don't like that phrase, you know, it is. Let's see, ATS guy said, do you remember the faces or anything? Yeah, the faces on the guys. Yeah, well, one guy, I remember him as being, I believe, this guy, Joe, from the mortgage company. And the other guy, for all I know, I'm pretty sure it's Bart. That Bart's very muscular. He doesn't look like he looks now. Not that there's anything wrong with you now, Bart.
I'm pretty muscular. No, I don't know.
It's just these guys look like they were on some serious steroids, let's put it that way. You know, like, they were very intimidating, you know. Not that I was walking around, you know, like a little puppy, but I definitely felt like, you know, all right, that guy was talking to my girlfriend, that's right. And that's right, I'm not doing nothing about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's right, I'm not doing nothing about it except getting upset. You know?
Do what you want with a girl.
Just
don't hurt me.
Yeah. And stay away from... Can you do me a favor and leave my girlfriend alone, please? You know?
Were the guys just standing out there?
What?
Were the guys just standing out there?
Yeah, they were just standing. They said they watched the show, and I think they said, you know, great show and blah, blah, blah. And then when my girlfriend tried to tell me, hey, that guy says he knows you and he knew everything about you, she's the one who told me, you know, he said he knows your mom, you this, you that. But when I spoke to them, I don't remember the face-to-face. Like, it's kind of weird. I just remember more of my girlfriend coming and telling me and me being taken aback by her than them, you know. And I just thought, like, I thought everything was a practical joke, like somebody was trying to mess with me, you know. I really did, because ever since the time my friend Sal went all to those elaborate lengths to fool me to thinking there was a ghost, I thought everything was a joke after that, you know. And that happened, you know, not too long before my experience when I was like 17 years old or 16 years old. You know, my friend Sal, they went as far as putting together lights in the woods on strings that's, you know, on cords, and they had voices coming out of the woods and shit. Like, they really went to great lengths to scare me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They put together an elaborate, you're on candid camera except you're not on candid camera type scare.
Yeah.
You know? I bet they wished they had a camera there, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't. But they went, you know, they had a kid hiding in the bushes. They had lights shooting across the woods that looked like eyeballs. It was nuts, you know? They really went far to scare me. So after that, I was skeptical of everything. I thought everything was somebody trying to play a prank on me, you know? But anyway, that happened. And see, I didn't want to say it, but I guess I have to, is that night, which has nothing to do with time travel, me and my girlfriend, we got busy in the bathroom at the beginning of the night.
Yeah.
And these guys were not there at that time at all.
This are so amazing. I could never have a
But somehow they knew, because they made a comment about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think they even pointed it out to me. You know, like, they even said, we only got here, you know, when your show started, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, I think maybe they were trying to prove it to me, but I just wasn't here having it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You seem to not be having it a lot. You were you've pretty much been blocking yourself. Like, you've been denying all this, you know?
I'm a blocker, yeah.
You're blocking yourself.
Jose and Brian were right. I'm a blocker. I admit it now, guys.
You've had so many of these experiences, but especially like the ones that happened recently, 2005.
Yeah. Well, this was 1995, the story I just gave you.
Yeah.
But as recently as 2005, yes. No doubt about it. The mortgage place was the last place so far that I can remember that anything happened significant. And number one was the lightning striking the pole under a mysterious cloud that didn't make thunder. And then the other thing that happened was the guy and the chick who walked into the place that, you know, his name was he said his name was Renato Perez with a P. Like, my name is Renato Ferraz, you know, F is in Frank. He said his name was Renato Perez. You know what I'm saying? and he was there. He was my client, but he was there to see my bosses and not me. And he would be there after I got back from lunch, which he was not. Like, he's like, yeah, I want to talk to the owners first, and then he said, you know, I know you're going to lunch now. He knew I was going to lunch. He's like, you're probably going to lunch now, or I know you're going to lunch now. Go, and when you come back, I'll be here. I want to talk to you. We'll go over some stuff. And then when I got back, the receptionist is sitting there showing me this yellow envelope with emails from the future in it, with future dates on the headers, you know? You know, like if it was February 2005 that the experience happened, you know, these emails were from like December of 2005 or October of 2005. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I don't work for that company. I work here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be over there in a year from now. In a year from now, I'm going to own my own mortgage place. But that dream was long gone as soon as I realized just how evil it was.
It's interesting how this person shows up, and sometimes they talk to you, sometimes they talk to other people. It's just strange. And
to
the way
me,
that people...
To me, the way I see it is that the person on the other side, if it's me, is very confident because he knows that I'm going to blow him off. So he's almost doing it like it's, you know, I don't know, like not prankfully, but it almost feels like a prank because they're going to walk away knowing that I didn't fully get it, or it's something I'll half remember and totally ponder it way later on, you know? But like specific things, like the thing that happened at Prudential, let's say, with the flatbed truck. Now that is different. Like that, I feel pretty confident that they flashed me, that they purposefully erased my memory. Like they did not want me walking away with that memory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like as far as I was concerned, you know, my brother, you know, like at the on the way, I'm pretty sure that on the way home from work that day, like, because they flashed me when I jumped off the truck, and when I went back to talk to Rick, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And then at the end of the day on the way home, I remember somebody specifically calling my name, and I felt like they were taking a picture of me, but trying to catch me, like, off guard. Like, they said, hey, Renato. And when I turned around to see who it was like Flash, you know? But I do remember that. I mean, I feel like I remember it, you know? I mean, you know, there's a lot of skeptics could say, and say, hey, you know, this guy's fucking full of shit or whatever, but I don't know, man, that you know, that's my story. This is what's coming out of my head, you know?
I wanted to add a little bit more about my contacts that they shared.
Which contacts?
Those
ones
that contact the one in the government.
Say that again?
Just the contact that I have at that one agency.
Oh, right, yeah.
Who said that their equipment has registered these a lot of these crafts that have been appearing, and that it's.
Oh yes, okay. I thought it was very interesting that he said the Haiti thing doesn't look fake.
Oh no, I don't know if it was that specifically.
Well, I couldn't help that was the first thing that jumped to my mind, you know.
I sent a bunch of links and videos over, but this is what I got back. That you know, some of the videos are CGI, and there's actually, I think there was a French director or some director who said that he there's an article that he created those Haiti, or at least one of the Haiti UFO videos. But anyway, so this contact says that he had about a dozen or so, I guess, agents or coworkers or affiliates that sort of descended upon him last week, and had sort of creeped him out and said that, asked him if their section, their department had been monitoring or capturing these craft on their equipment, and that person said it kind of creeped him out that these people descended upon him, but also that this stuff was, that it was real. So, and also the message that was passed on to me was that this activity is increasing.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting sort of a better picture of an accurate state of affairs. The fact that this activity is real and it's increasing, I knew, but it's getting corroboration from this sort of an agency on that, or a confirmation, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Now, on a separate issue, which is sort of unrelated, but I also asked about the detainment camps, the Halliburton detainment camps, and about martial law. And what I got back was that although the picture that is being created is a good picture, it doesn't sort of reflect reality. There's no way that a true martial law would be implemented, because, in his words, there was such an astronomical number of people that have weapons that the nation would implode if they ever tried to institute it. Not going to happen. Also said that the detainment camps, that's not going to happen, and don't worry about it. There's not going to be these sort of Gitmo camps or whatever across the states they're just going to round people up. So that's not going to happen. So,
well, it's not going to happen. In other words, it's not going to happen on a mass level where they try to lock down the whole entire United States. That's, of course, not reality. But they're going to round up, a small number of people.
They may, but I think the impression that it was, on a lot smaller scale than people are fearful about.
Right. But the thing is the real message behind it all is it could happen to anyone. That's the point. Even though it turns out that everyone they seem to contact may or may not be a somebody. But, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, you still have the system in place there that's...
Yeah, if they single out one person in your neighborhood, do you think your neighborhood's going to have an uprising and fight against whoever came to pick up that one person? No. People are going to stand back and watch. That's simple.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's going on. You can't sit there and point a finger and say, "Oh, they're just blind," or they might, there's so many theories you could put behind stuff like that. But the bottom line is the law's in place that could happen. It might not happen to you, might not ever happen to you, but it could happen to someone or somebody who's important.
Whether martial law or that sort of detainment camp scenario would happen, which most likely it won't, you still have that legislation in place from the Patriot Act and all that stuff that is unconstitutional.
Well,
yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen, but I'll tell you that. I'd hate to be scared of the United States military living in the United States. I think that would be horrible. I actually had to be scared of the people who are supposed to protect me. That's why people are so flippy on cops, And I don't mean the show cops. I mean the way people think of cops in general,
I've been told that my friend will keep me abreast of whatever developments there are.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
But shit, man. It's it's definitely deep stuff, no doubt about it. and he's coming from so many angles. You know, he's talking political, he's talking phenomenon.
Yep.
It's pretty wild, man. Shit.
Yeah, we got corroboration from the government that this activity is real and it's increasing.
Right, and you know, and I told you I had a friend I have a friend, a family member in the military, and she told him that he was made to sign non-disclosure papers saying something to the effect that ETs are real, but if they see them, they're not allowed to say they did. So, you know. But, you know, that's not going to prove, like, for me, that's just one more notch on the belt that I think it's real, you know.
Yeah.
It's still not going to prove anything to a hardcore skeptic, you know. It's funny how, like, the movie The Matrix, you ever see the part where Neo's training? And when Morpheus tells him, he goes, some people, they're so hopelessly entwined, or I forget the exact words he used, they're so hopelessly caught up in the system that they'll actually fight you to stay in it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how, like, it feels with certain people. Like, they're so hopelessly caught in the system. Like, you know, like the people, I guess I say, that want to be led, they don't lead themselves. They want to be led. They want to be directed all the time. They always want somebody telling them what to do. You know, like they're, I guess, what's the word that dominatrix girls have? Submissive?
Submissive?
Yeah. They're submissive, you know? And it's weird, because I'm not trying to say people should walk around being dominators and, like, sort of in the sense of the bully, where they're walking around dominating people by being a bully. You know, I'm just talking more along the lines of, you know, lead yourself and stand your ground. You know, seek your own truth. Don't let somebody else tell you what it is. That's kind of the direction I'm thinking of when I say lead yourself, you know. And there's people out there who want to be led and they want to be told or directed, or whichever way you want to put it, you know.
Yep.
But, shit, man, yeah. You know, and, I mean, there's a lot of people out there like that, man. There's a lot more. And it's weird, you know, people, sometimes it's almost like they're fighting you just for the sake of fighting. Almost like they're messing with you, trying to make you mad on purpose and stuff. You know, like, you find a lot of that in the message boards and stuff. But shit, man, I post, you know, like, I posted a book online called The Craigslist Codes, right? Because when I was trying to make money off being a computer technician, I figured out a way to make it easy for myself to post ads on there and get business without getting buried all the time. So I made a little book about it, and now I got this guy haunting me, telling me my book's wrong, and I'm a spammer, and I'm a this and a that. And I'm thinking the whole time when I posted my book, I'm contributing to the community. I'm saying, hey, you know, here's something that's going to make your life easier while you're trying to, you know, trying to make a living, you know. And it's nuts, like the person's just telling, like, blindsiding me with all these, like, technicalities, and he's digging up fucking the rules and shit, and I'm like, yo, but then he shows me all the rules, and it's like taxes. Where's the one that's specific to what I'm talking about? You know? And I defend myself. I say, hey, I'm working within the rules, dude. You're just calling me a spammer. It's like you didn't even read the book. It's almost like you're just trying to fight with me for the sake of fighting with me. It's nuts. You know? And for some reason, I think my name has something to do with it. I think the fact that my name is Renato and it's like a kind of a Latin-sounding name, maybe it's like a racial thing, you know? I don't know. But it's just weird. Like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is people, it feels like they're programmed, you know? It's like, you know, you know, how they say there's leaders and there's followers, you know. It's weird. I feel like everyone has the ability to be a leader. Everyone, you know. No matter where in the totem pole of life that they are, you know. And you know what's weird? I wanted to touch on another thing that ATS guy posted the history of Atlantis links of the videos on the Above Top Secret thread, and it's weird. It's funny that he brought them up because I watched them a while back, you know, and he came to the same exact conclusion I did. He's like, yo, man, that video says a lot of cool shit, but it seems like it's pro-Illuminati, you know? Like, they didn't sound like they were against, they didn't exactly sound like they were against keeping secrets from the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how they were having the rituals and the meetings and all that stuff. And he's right on the money. That's why I know he's good researching, because he finds those little things, you know. And I thought the same exact thing. I thought, you know, he's fucking right. You know, it does sound like they're pro-Illuminati in that video. You know, like they're with it. Like they want, like it sounds like almost like they're trying to get their initiation. You know, here we'll make this great video saying how great you guys are, and then, you know, maybe they'll let us in to the club. Maybe they'll give us admission to the club. You know.
No. I want to point out. Cyberwasp had found in video number 2, I think that ATS guy had posted between 13 minutes and 14 minutes.
Right.
There's a gentleman talking about, you know, Jesus' return, and he's talking about he'll return visibly and in person to a place amidst of noise, so it will be an audible event. Right.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty sick too, man.
Funny.
And see, it's weird. Like I said, the video was cool. Like there was a lot of cool things in the video, but at the same time, it seemed like they were like pro-Illuminati. You know, like I said, like they were with it in certain aspects of things. You know. But yeah, man, that was definitely cool. No doubt about it. You know, like I didn't disagree with everything in the video. Like I didn't disagree with the parts about ascension and the shift and, you know, and the controlling, like, because they point everything out too, how people were controlled and people are programmed today to think a certain way. And you got to remember that video was like, you know, like 20 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shit, I think I'm being too loud. I think I woke my son up. My wife's gonna kill me now.
Actually, I think it's probably, I should probably cut out of here.
All right, bro. Well, it was great talking to you, dude. And I want to thank everybody else for listening, ATS guy, and all the other people who called in, and the Bill, Dr. Bill.
Bill here.
Oh, thanks for calling in, Dr. Bill. Yeah, my son's crying now. I think it's probably my fault. I'm fucking yelling in my garage. All right, man. So it was great talking to you guys, and thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah.
And Bart, always a pleasure, my friend.
Yep. Same here.
Rock on, and be prepared for the phone call of life. Always.
I'm waiting for the call.
And you too, Bill. You wait for that phone call. Wait, Bill, did you volunteer?
I have no idea.
Well, you didn't volunteer, so unless you volunteer, you're not going to get a phone call.
I will volunteer right now.
You got it.
Also waiting for a blue British police box to materialize, but I haven't seen that yet either.
Oh, sorry.
Uh-oh.
Just smashed into my wife.
All right, Renato, we'll go take care of business.
Nah, she's taking care of it.